statue there of St. Anthony or San Antonio make its way into view. That was given to us in 1968 by the country of Portugal during the 1968 World Fair we hosted. Now, in 1968, they gave us that statue because their patron saint is St. Anthony, and we are named after St. Anthony. So when they gave us that statue, it was a sign of brotherhood or camaraderie between our city and their country. Now, if you like taking pictures, guys, if you look directly ahead of us, we have a really great picture of the Tower Life building. And as we head forward, we're going to get 2 more viewings of that building in just a bit. It's one of the most recognizable sky rises we have here in downtown San Antonio, and it is the only octagon-shaped sky rise we have in San Antonio and in North America. It's a very unique sky rise. Now, as we head forward, you're going to look on the right side of the boat. And there above us on the right side, we have a very large slate roof. That belongs to St. Joseph's Catholic Church there on the right. They had their cornerstone laid in 1868, and they were actually built by and funded by the local German Catholics we had down here at that time. And they still celebrate their German heritage. If you happen to be in town for the final Sunday Mass of the month, they actually hold that entire Mass in German. Now here on the right side, guys, this is actually the San Antonio Chamber of Commerce. If you're interested in opening up a business down here or a shop, be sure to check out their website. They're a valuable resource, and they'd be more than happy to help get you situated here in town and add to the business family. So as we head left here, guys, we're now leaving our man-made extension and entering into the natural flow of the San Antonio River. Now, as we head to do so, we're going to make our way underneath the Market Street Bridge. Now, as we clear this bridge, guys, I want you to look on the left riverbank. As we clear the bridge, you're going to get a good viewing of the Hilton Palacio del Rio. Now, this hotel here on the left was built specifically to house many of the people who will be visiting San Antonio during the 1968 Hemispheric World's Fair we hosted. Now, in saying that, guys, that means they had a concrete date by which the building needed to be completed. However, partway through, they realized they were not going to meet that deadline. And if you look at the first 4 floors, you'll notice they look quite different from the 5th floor up. And that's because they were actually built at the same time. And by that I mean, while they were building the first 4 floors here in location, they were actually building the rooms themselves remotely 8 miles south of here at the headquarters of H.B. Zachary. And as they finished a number of these a number of these rooms here on the left, they would actually bring them on flatbed trailers to our construction site and then lift them with cranes and place them each in their respective locations. Now, if you look at the rooms, you'll notice they have a very symmetrical, Lego-like appearance. By adopting this construction style, guys, they were able to finish the entire building in 202 working days. And they actually finished with 2 days to spare before the fair opened up. So I'm sure somebody got to breathe a huge sigh of relief at the Hilton, knowing they were going to keep their job because they opened it up just in time. Now, also there on the left is La Villita, or the Little Village, and this actually started out in the 1700s as housing for the Spanish soldiers that helped settle this part of Texas. It's now used for 2 restaurants and an artisans community as well that goes on quite a bit past the front facade here. And now directly ahead of us, guys, this is Arneson's River Theater. On the left, you'll see they have seating for about 800 people, and on the right, we have the stage itself. And they're both used throughout the year for various forms of live entertainment, and especially during Fiesta when we have our river boat parade come through here. Now, as we head forward, if you look on the right side of the boat, you'll notice there are 5 bronze bells placed there. And they are there to represent the 5 Spanish missions they have here in San Antonio. Now, on the center bell, you can't make it out from this angle, but it actually reads in honor of Mr. Robert Hugman. He was the concept architect for the San Antonio Riverwalk. And we're going to hear a little bit more about Mr. Hugman as we head forward. Now, if you look ahead of us, just past these waterfalls on the right side, you're going to notice a very large statue of a cattle drive. We have the three steer and the cowboy behind them driving them forward. This is known as Heading to the Briscoe, and it's actually part of the Briscoe Western Arts Museum, which is just behind the statue there. Now this building actually started out in 1930 as the first downtown San Antonio library. It operated all the way up until 1968 and would close its doors when we opened up our second downtown library. It's now home to various forms of Western memorabilia. They actually have a full-size Wells Fargo stationery to the side, and they even have a sword that Santa Anna used during the Siege of the Alamo that took place here in San Antonio. Now, if you like taking pictures, again, if you look above us on the right side, straight ahead of us, I'm sorry, we have another picture or viewing of the Tower Life building from down here that's pretty awesome. And we're going to get one more viewing, and I will point that out in just a couple of minutes, guys. Now, as we clear this bridge, we're entering my favorite section of the river. As you can see, it's very quiet down here. It's quite removed from the rest of the hustle and bustle down on the river walk. But if you look there on the right side of the boat, you're going to notice a small island known as Marriage Island. Now, Marriage Island is a very popular place to come out and have a wedding picture taken. But if you look there on the right side, you'll notice it's also home to an iron sculpture. That iron sculpture is known as Father Massenet's Table, and it was placed there to commemorate a mass held here on the river on June 13th, 1691, when Father Massenet came through with his congregation and held the Mass here on the river. Now, if you look up June 13th on the Catholic calendar, you'll notice that it actually correlates to the feast day of St. Anthony, and this is what prompted Father Massenet to name the river after the saint. Now, as our town would grow around the missions we have here and ultimately become a city, we would adopt the name of San Antonio from the river from which we drew our water, which is a common misconception here in San Antonio, that our river is named after the city, when it's actually quite the opposite. Now, as we round this bend, guys, if you look dead ahead, you're going to notice the very large red building with the green roof and spire. That's the Bexar County Courthouse. It's one of the oldest courthouses we have in Texas. It was completed in 1896, and it's actually made out of granite, but to give it that very distinctive red coloring, they would veneer it in a red sandstone. Now, as promised, guys, if you look on the left side of the boat and you crane your neck straight up, you'll notice we're now underneath the Tower Life building that we saw earlier. And from this vantage point, you can actually make out all the gargoyles in the top tier. You'll notice the windows have very ornate window trim all around. And as we head forward, you can actually see on the first floor that they have these funny faces looking down. Now, those characters are known as grotesques, and all these little details are actually motifs of the popular form of architectural fashion known as Neo-Gothic. And Neo-Gothic fashion was very popular in the 1920s. They would go on to finish this building here in 1929.